Hello, everyone out there in YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego. And today we're going to talk some more about Pretty Woman. That's right, Pretty Woman, that piece of shit fucking chick flick that you've all seen. We've all seen this movie, okay, from 1990, the Julia Roberts movie, okay? Oh my God. Talk about getting pissed off watching this thing. The message here is so wrong. It's so bad. I mean, oh my God, come on. Buy your way into love. You need money to find love? Are you out of your fucking mind? Anyway, this movie was written by a gay guy. Okay, this was a big hit. So that's why I'm doing this. I know the influence this movie had on a lot of women, on a whole generation of women. It made Julia Roberts a star. It confirmed Richard Gere's appeal as a male sex symbol. Yes, at one time he was. Yeah, absolutely. He was fucking. He only really had two. There was only two loves of his life. One was Cindy Crawford, and the other one was the gerbil. Oh yeah, look that up. Okay. Oh, I think he liked the gerbil more. It was better in bed. Ooh, officer and a gentleman, right? The American gigolo himself. Okay, anyway, I'm Diego, and I give you a straight man's point of view on this movie, on this chick flick. This is part of my chick flick destruction series. This is part 10. Yes, I'm going in depth on this movie. Okay, I'm gonna break apart every fucking scene, every piece of dialogue. I'm gonna break it apart here and give you a straight man's point of view, which is the point of view you never got when you watch this movie with your girlfriends and your gay friends. Okay, you never got the straight man's point of view because we weren't watching this shit. I was the only one watching this shit. Okay, and I'm gonna rip it apart for what it is, expose it for what it is. Okay, a piece of shit, a bullshit narrative. Okay, the difference between guy movies and girl movies is that when guys walk out of a guy movie, we know that shit ain't gonna fucking happen to us in real life. Okay, that's the difference. Okay, and this movie's no exception. Okay, so now that I got that out of the way, let's continue where I was. Like I said, this is part 10. Okay, I'm gonna do as many parts as I have to finish this goddamn movie. All right, so here we go. So where we left off last time is Vivian went shopping at all these stores, of course, because Ed Lewis, that's Richard Gere, gave her the credit card, so she bought all sorts of shit. She went back to the store that was rude to her when she went there earlier in her hooker clothes. They were rude to her and they kicked her out. Yeah, I know, evil, right? They cooked out a hooker that walked into their store, so she was mean to them. She went back in there and was mean to them back. You know, look at all this, I got money, and you ruined it. That's your fault. Big mistake. You know, then she walks out of there, right? And of course, the hotel manager, he's prouder, he's happier than a pig in shit that she's fucking using his guest for his money to buy herself some very expensive clothes. He's proud of her now, okay? Because before, when she first came in there in her hooker clothes, he felt sorry for her, but now he's like, yes, she made it, you know? She fucked a billionaire, and now she's spending his money. That's the way it's done. Absolutely. Good for you. I'm proud of you. You know, that kind of thing. That's the message we're getting here, okay? So that's going on, okay? When Vivian was at the store, Edward got a phone call from his lawyer, Philip Stuckey. That's a short little Jewish bald guy lawyer of his, okay, who's a big asshole. Okay, and they have to have an emergency meeting, so he has to go back to the office. Okay, so now we're back in his office, okay, and we find out what they're talking about. Okay, he's meeting with Philip. Edward's there meeting with Philip, and it turns out that James Morse, that's Ralph Bellamy's character, this old man that owns this company that builds battleships, okay, for the Navy. They're trying to take over that company, trying to do a hostile takeover of the company. All right, it looks like the James Morse, he mortgaged everything he's got, okay, in order to secure a loan so that they could keep the company going, so they could buy up the shares, okay, that right now Edward owns. Okay, that way he can't take over their company. Okay, if they do that, if they buy up the shares, then they're going to get the contract, okay, from the Navy to build all the battleships, which is going to up the value of their stock. Well, Edward did some sneaky shit. He's got a corrupt senator in his pocket who blocked it. Who blocked that sale, the Navy sale, and blocked it in appropriations. He didn't stop it. He just like slowed it down, so that if they don't get that contract, they're gonna fucking lose their business. Okay, so they decided to do some profit sharing. They got some money for their employees. Okay, and they mortgaged everything else. Okay, so it looks like they're gonna try real hard to hold on to their business. Okay, well, what Sneaky Ed decided to do was to find out which bank it was. That's going to underwrite the loan. He found out who it is, Paramount. Well, it looks like Paramount Bank is also one of his clients. They're one of their clients, and they are a much more valuable client than James Morse is. So all they have to do is call the bank and tell the bank, hey, no, do not secure the loan for them. Okay, and then they're going to have no choice but to capitulate and give in to Ed. Okay, and they're going to lose their company. Okay, and when Ed buys their company, he's going to break it apart into different pieces and sell it off. Each piece off for more than what he spent for it, because that's his mo. That's his business. That's his business model. Okay, so yeah, he's a shady motherfucker. Edward is a shady motherfucker. I know you girls like him. He's sexy. He's the American gigolo. He's smart. He's charming. He's handsome. He's straight. He's got no kids. You know, all that kind of bullshit. Okay, that's not believable at all. But he is an asshole. He is an asshole. Okay, this is the guy that fucking put your dad out of work when you were a little girl. Okay, this is the guy that did that. This is the type of guy that does that stuff. All right. So so that's going on here. Okay. They mortgaged everything, so they're all they have to do is block it. Is call the bank. Okay, so of course Philip is telling her to call the bank. Just call the bank. It's done. It's done. We can get through this. It's easy. This is no problem. But he decides not to for whatever reason. Okay. He decides that he wants to. He starts stacking a bunch of rocks glasses on top of each other, and he tells Philip, "Hey, you know, when I was a kid, I used to play with blocks. You know, I used to build things with blocks." He's like, yeah, so what? I used to play with Monopoly. Big deal. He's like, yeah, you know what, Philip, we don't build anything. We don't make anything. He's like, we make money. I've been working on this deal for a year. This is what you wanted. And now I'm giving it to you on a silver platter. You know? And he's just like, you know, he's like, I'm giving it to you on a silver platter. This is the deal that you wanted. He goes, Morse's jugular is exposed right now. It's time to go in for the kill. Let's finish this. Call the bank. Well, he decides he's going to think about it. All right. So this next segue that we have is Vivian. Okay, she's waiting in the hotel room, the penthouse hotel room, at the Beverly Wilshire 5-star hotel. Okay, he's got the penthouse room. Even though he's afraid of heights, he's got the penthouse suite. And she's waiting there completely naked except for a tie. Now, the tie that she's wearing is the tie that she took off of the sales clerk at the store she was at earlier, okay? She just said, hey, I like that tie, and the manager made him take it off and give it to her, okay? So she's wearing that and nothing else. She's naked. There's a candlelight dinner there, okay? And she's just waiting for him to come home, or come back to his room, and he gets there. He's like, oh, nice outfit, you know, nice tie, you know? And she surprises him when he gets back to the room. Later on, they're in the bathtub together, okay? They're in the bathtub together. She's actually sitting behind him. He's sitting in the bathtub naked, and she's behind him naked. Her legs are wrapped around his waist, okay? And he's basically talking, and she's like massaging his back and shit in the bathtub, whatever, listening to him, you know? We find out some stuff about Ed that we did not know. Okay, it turns out that his mother was a music teacher. That's where he learned how to play the piano. His mother was a music teacher, and his dad was the president of a very profitable company. Okay, he was very, very rich. Okay, yes. So that means that his mom was a gold digger, just like Vivian. All right, and Edward's dad divorced his mom when he was a kid because he wanted to be with another woman. Okay, well, back in the day, they did that, okay, which I'm not excusing it. It wasn't good, okay, but back in the day, stuff like that did happen. You got to remember, this is before no-fault divorce, okay, so the man had very little to lose, okay, by divorcing his wife, okay, and the woman had a lot more to lose. Nowadays, it's the exact opposite, okay, there is no-fault divorce now, okay, the woman guy has everything to gain by marrying the guy and divorcing him. The man has everything to lose. Unfortunately, that's what it's turned into today, okay, it sucks, but that's the way it is today. Okay, but not back when he was a kid. So yeah, so when he divorced his mom, he took his money with him. Okay, bullshit. Okay, I'm pretty sure he still went to Ivy League schools. I'm pretty sure he still went to private schools. Okay, there's a thing called child support, which was active back then, and there's also a thing called alimony. Okay, which was active back then too. Okay, so no, no, she didn't exactly leave the marriage empty-handed. Okay, and neither did he. Okay, so that happened. Okay, he divorced his mom to be with another woman. Okay, and then after that, she died. Okay, so obviously he's got some daddy issues. He blames his father. Okay, he said I was very angry with him. and it only cost me 10 grand, $10,000 in therapy lessons, in therapy sessions, to be able to say that sentence. Hello, my name is Mr. Lewis, and I am very, very angry with my father. I'm angry with him. Obviously. Obviously, he's got daddy issues, okay? Okay, and Vivian says, like, you know what? Because Vivian, for some reason, knows the length of her arms and her wrist and her legs. Like, who the fuck does that, okay? But she says something like, you know what? My left leg is like 84 inches, you know? And my right leg is also 84 inches, and both of these legs are wrapped around you for the low, low price of $3,000. You know, for the low, low price of $3,000. They both say $3,000, you know? She's like, I would have been upset at the 10 grand, you know? And it's like, you know, my father, he's like, you know, my father was president of the third company I ever took over. Get it? It's cathartic. This was cathartic, man. This guy's petty too, just like Vivian. It's like, wow. I mean, he's motivated by petty revenge. Like, you're telling me that was his motivation to succeed in business, was to get back at his dad for what he did to his mom, for what he did to him? Maybe it was. Who knows? You know? But it comes across that way. Yeah, I find it hard to believe that a guy who built himself up from nothing managed to acquire all this. Like, no, he had help. He had a lot of money that was his golden parachute in case he failed. Okay, I don't think he did. He went from nothing. Okay, I think he had a lot. He got a lot in the divorce, and he used it to make himself more successful than his father. I think that's what happened. Okay. You know, it's like a lot of people think that Donald Trump was born like middle class and turned himself in bull fucking. Donald Trump was born a multimillionaire. He inherited his money and then he became a billionaire with that money. Okay. So, no, he started off pretty well. Okay. Okay. So he took his father apart. Yeah. So he said that the third company he ever took over was his dad's company. You know, basically, it was cathartic. He took his father apart and sold him off. You know? Yeah, and that's what the shrink said, that after he did that, he was cured. Okay, so that scene happens. All right. So the next scene is they go to a ritzy place. They go to a ritzy they go to a ritzy polo game. Okay, a polo match. They go to some yard where they play polo. Rich people there on horseback playing polo. Okay, it's all a bunch of rich people in their summer dresses and their summer suits and shit. And they go. Then obviously Vivian is his date. Okay, and she's wearing this polka dot brown dress with a polka dot brown hat. Okay, so she looks very elegant. She looks like she belongs there. She looks like she's a rich woman. Okay. She's nervous though at first. She doesn't want to leave the car because she's afraid that other people there might recognize her from Hollywood Boulevard. You know, do any of your friends all cruise Hollywood Boulevard? They probably seen me before. It's like, no, they're not going to know you. Don't worry about it. You know, that kind of thing. You know, so she's very scared to be there. Okay, she's afraid that they'll see her as a prostitute, despite the fact that she's wearing she's wearing like $1,000 dress. Okay, she's brown. Okay, okay. So she spends a little bit of time talking to the ladies, okay, and one woman tells Vivian that she's Edward's flavor of the month, you know. And another woman tells her, oh, she's just saying that because, you know, all the women are trying to get with Edward, and here you got him, you know. And Vivian tells her, it's like, oh, you know, oh, it's okay, I'm just using him for sex. And then she walks away, and that pisses off the other two women. Come, get the fuck out of here, okay? You're honestly telling me that these adult women have never heard another woman talk crass like that, talk sexual like that? Come on, of course they have. Okay, they're shocked. Oh my God, she said that? No, get the fuck out of here. Nobody believes that shit. Okay, I'm pretty sure they've heard worse in their life than that. Okay, but they act like they're offended that she says something like that, right? So anyway, Vivian goes up to Edward, okay, and embarrasses herself. She's there. They're watching the game, right? And at one point, the crowd starts cheering. So Edward starts cheering, and Vivian goes woo 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 like that, like fucking like she's like on Arsenio Hall. Okay. Now, there was a show in the late 80s, early 90s called Arsenio Hall. They were basically, he was the black Johnny Carson, but he was appealing to a younger demographic because let's face it, Johnny Carson was just too old to really understand what the kids of that era were watching, listening to, what their favorite actors were. He was too old, so they had to appeal to a younger demographic, so they came up with the Arsenio Hall show. Arsenio Hall was funny. He was legit funny, you know. But he's this black guy, this sassy black guy on there. You remember him from Coming to America. He was Eddie Murphy's partner in that movie. That's what made him famous, and then he got the talk show after that. So yeah, okay. And one of the I used to watch the show myself, and one of the things that they used to do on that show that they did not do on Johnny Carson or David Letterman was they went woo 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 woo. That was just to let you know that this crowd, his audience is a lot younger than Johnny Carson's audience. Okay. So obviously, Vivian watched Arsenio Hall. So she does the woo, 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 you know, like that. Which betrays the fact that she's not rich. Okay. So he looks at her like, you know, like, oh shit. And she realizes that, oh, damn it. You know, my trailer park is showing. Okay. So, Ed tells her that the reason they're at this polo game, because Vivian doesn't really want to be there. Why we got to be here is because it's business, okay? It's for the business of mingling, okay? Like this is how you mingle, you know. This is how you network, okay? Okay. He introduces Vivian to Philip, his lawyer, the asshole Jason Alexander, and his wife, okay, who's kind of a bitch to her. She like says hi to her, then walks away from her, you know. So that's going on. Vivian does not like Edward's friends. She does not like Philip or his wife or any of the people that she meets there. Okay, you know, there's a scene here where they have to all the guests all have to get up and stop the divots, which is the patches of grass that were torn off during the game. They got to stomp them back into the field. Okay, I guess it's a time-honored tradition. I don't know. I've never been to a fucking polo match. Okay. But while they're there, Philip's wife is talking to Edward, and she asks him, where'd you find? She's adorable. Where'd you find her? You know, that kind of thing. He's like, 976 babe. He walks away from her. Now, for those of you kids out there that don't understand this, okay, back at around this time, there was no internet. Okay, but there was phone sex. Okay, where you call it's always a 976 number, and something you dial it, and you can talk to someone. Okay, yeah, I know that was actually a thing. Okay, but anyway, so that was the joke. Okay, he basically dialed her up. He ordered her over the phone. 976 babe. So meanwhile, the other guy there. Now you remember James Morse? That's the old man, Ralph Bellamy's character. That's the company. He owns the company that Edward, Richard Gere's trying to take over. Well, he runs the company with his grandson. His grandson's name is David Morse, and David Morse is actually competing in this polo game. So he's there in his outfit, his polo outfit. His horse is there, you know, and of course he recognizes Vivian because he met her at the business dinner the other night. So he goes up to Vivian, starts talking to her, and they have a conversation. Oh, you know, he's like, hey, you want to meet the horse? Come see my horse, that kind of thing. So they're talking, okay, and he's showing her the horse. He's nice to her. He's a nice guy. He's nice to her, okay. But Philip sees this, and he gets all upset and jealous and angry, seeing this woman that he doesn't know that he just met, that's spending a lot of time with his boss, talking to the grandson of the guy that owns the company that they're trying to fucking take over. Okay, so he gets a little suspicious here, and he goes over to Edward. You know, he talks to Edward. Okay, and he tells her that he's concerned about Vivian. Like, who is this girl? He's like, well, what does it matter? You know, he's like, she's in sales. What, sales? What is that supposed to mean, sales? He's like, well, what do you care? He's like, what do you care where she's from? He's like, look at her, man. She's over there talking to David Morse. How do you know she wasn't slipped in here to fuck up our deal? You know, she's a he's like industrial espionage. It's a big deal. It's a real thing. You know, she's over there. He's like, how am I supposed to feel when I see her talking to the enemy like that? And he looks over and he sees Vivian talking to David. You know, he's an industrial sabotage. She's an industrial spy. You know, industrial espionage is a real thing. And apparently it is a real thing. Okay. Okay. And he found, in order to calm down Philip, okay, in order to calm him down, Ed tells him, hey, look, she's a hooker, okay? She's a hooker. Okay, I picked her up on Hollywood Boulevard. Okay. I picked her up in your car, by the way. Okay, see, up until this point, I thought that Edward was a smart guy because he has all the constraints of a smart guy. He's very successful. He's very he's very his dialogue is very fluent. You know, he uses big words. You know, he's very eloquent. You know, very cultured. He's successful. You know, and then he does something stupid like this. Now, if I was a billionaire like him, okay, I would not be telling anyone that my date is a fucking street hooker. I would not. I wouldn't even tell it to my lawyer. I wouldn't tell that to my parents. I wouldn't tell that to my best friend. I wouldn't tell that to anybody. No, I would not say nothing. As a matter of fact, I would have coached her before this event and made up a fake backstory for her to tell everyone else that I will, play along with. Okay, because of course these questions are bound to come up. Who are you? Where are you from? How'd you meet? All that shit's gonna come up when you introduce somebody. Okay, so yeah, all that would have been planned out in advance. Okay, I would not have fucking said, yeah, she's a street hooker I picked up. No, no. And to make things even worse, the guy that he tells it to is his employee. Okay. Initially, I thought that Philip was his business partner, but it's not. He's actually his employee. Philip works for Edward. Edward is his boss. Okay. He works for Edward. Okay. This is not the kind of thing that you tell your underlings. Not something like this. Not something embarrassing like this. Damaging like this. Okay. No. All right. It's not realistic at all. Even though he had nothing planned, he would have fucking made something else up or just said, I ain't gonna tell you shit. Okay. Don't worry about it. That's what I would have said. If I couldn't think up of something, of a lie, okay, but I wanted him to quit asking me, I would just say, don't worry about it. None of your business. She's not a spy. That's all you need to know. That's what I wouldn't have said, oh, look, she's a hooker, okay? She's a hooker. No, I would not have done that. That was stupid, and that's bullshit. Okay? So Philip starts laughing. He's like, you're the only millionaire I know that goes looking for bargain basement street. That goes looking for a bargain basement streetwalker for a piece of ass. Well, it didn't work out that way. He just happened to meet her. It was just circumstances, Okay. So anyway, so that's going on here. Immediately, Edward says, look, I'm sorry I told you. And he walks away from him. Okay. He walks away upset. Okay. What he should have told him is like, don't you better not fucking tell anybody about what I just told you or I'm going to fire you. You hear me? That's what I would have done. But he didn't say that. Okay. So anyway, Philip goes, Edward goes to talk to that senator, the corrupt senator. Okay. The one that's in his pocket, the one that blocked the deal. Okay. He goes to talk to that guy. Meanwhile, Philip goes up to Vivian, who's standing by herself. She's standing next to a tree by herself. He goes up to her and he tells her that he knows that she's a hooker. He's like, hey, yeah, you like this place, huh? It's the big difference from Hollywood Boulevard, isn't it? And she's like, he's like, oh, yeah, Edward told me everything. And of course, Vivian's upset at this revelation. Now, like I said, it's not realistic. Okay, Philip is an employee of Ed. Okay, Ed is above him. Okay, he would not shoot himself in the foot like this. Okay, he wants to get fired. This is how you get fired. Okay, you start talking about shit that's none of your fucking business. Okay, now it doesn't matter that this girl's a street hooker. Okay, Philip is smart enough to know that he brought this girl here. This is not just some fucking girl he's banging. He brought her to a fucking social event. Okay, he has no problem introducing her to his associates, to people that he works with, to his employees. Okay, so obviously he has a level of respect for this woman. Okay, you do not shit on someone that your boss respects. Okay, you don't do that. Okay, but this guy does that. Why? I thought he's supposed to be smart. He's supposed to be a lawyer, right? You don't do this shit. Okay, so yeah, so it was stupid of him to do this. It makes no sense. But you got to have some sort of attention. You got to have some sort of a villain in this movie. So I guess Jason Alexander fits the bill. Okay, but honestly, so far he's no worse than fucking Ed. He's no worse than Ed. Okay, if he had more money, if he owned the company, he would be Ed. He would be doing exactly what Edward's doing. Okay, but we can't have the villain being a good-looking, smart, sophisticated, playboy, right? We got to make him a short, Jewish, ugly, rapist, fucking bald, asshole. Okay. I said rapist, damn it. I'm jumping the gun. All right, so yeah, so realistically, this would not happen. So Philip decides to proposition her. He says, hey, you know what? After Edward goes back to New York, maybe I can come by and pay a little visit to you myself. You know? And she agrees to it. She's like, okay. She agrees to it. She's like, okay, yeah, I'll let you fuck me too. She's our protagonist, okay? So that's going on here. Okay, the next scene that we get is back at the hotel, okay? So Edward and Vivian show up at the hotel. Vivian's being a bitch. Edward's been asking what's wrong the entire way home, back to the room. She's been asking what's wrong. She has not answered. Okay, she gives Ed a lot of attitude. Okay, and she, fine, fine. He goes, how many times do I have to hear the word fine? And she says, okay, how about this word, asshole? He's like, I think I like the word fine better. Okay, so Vivian's pissed off, so she finally gives it to him. She's like, I don't get it. If you're going to tell everyone that I'm a hooker, why don't you just let me wear my own clothes? That way, when your friend comes up to me, I can handle it. I'm prepared. It's like, hey, Vivian, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about what he said to you. I'm sorry about what he did, okay? But he is my attorney, and I've known him for 10 years. Okay? He thought you were an industrial spy. She's like, oh, so you're my pimp now? Pass me along to your friends? Yeah, actually. Realistically, yeah. Okay, and then she walks away from him. He's like, Vivian, I am speaking to you. Come back here. I hate to point out the obvious fact, but you are a hooker. You're a hooker. You choke pole for a living. You get filled out like an application. And you're also my employee. Oh my God. Well, obviously she's offended by this. You don't own me. I decide who. I decide when. Vivian, I refuse to spend the next 3 days arguing with you. I said I was sorry and I meant it. That's the end. Well, I'm sorry I ever met you and got into your car. Oh, as if you had so many more appealing options available. This movie shows you all the advantages of being with a man like him, but none of the disadvantages. Okay, ladies, for those of you that I know women that have sugar daddies. I've known plenty of women that have sugar. I used to manage a titty bar, okay? I know lots of pretty hot girls that have sugar daddies, okay? And let me tell you, okay, yes, it's true. They spend a lot of money on you. They take you places you never would have been able to afford on your own, or that an average guy could have taken you. They buy you expensive shit. They fly you to faraway places. You eat at the best restaurants. You see the best shows. All that stuff is true, okay? But, and here's the killer. Here's the killer. Eventually, it will go away. Eventually, you will be replaced. Because there's always someone younger. There's always someone hotter. There's always someone who's going to offer themselves to this guy that's better looking than you. Okay? That is the price you pay for being a kept woman. Okay? You are at he's paying for you, so you are available to him when he wants you. When he no longer wants you, he gets rid of you. It's like buying a car. Like you spend a lot of money, you buy a car. When you're done with the car, you sell it. Okay? You want a new car, a better car, a newer model. You see what I mean? And that's what happens. Okay, that's the part they never tell you about. A lot of you girls out there seem to think that, oh, because I'm beautiful and stuff, rich men are going to just buy me things all the time. Yeah, for a while, but eventually it's going to go away. You're going to get replaced. You'll get replaced. It happens to everybody. It happens to everybody. The only difference is like a guy, if a guy is rich and he's 20, let's say he's 25 and he's rich and he's got a sugar girl, he's got a sugar baby, that's 18 and he's 25. When he's 55, okay, 30 years later, he's still capable of having a sugar baby that's 18, okay? You see what I mean? He has a longer shelf life than you do, okay? Because once that 18-year-old turns 28, she ain't gonna look as good anymore. And if she's got kids, forget about it. Forget about it. No. You see what I mean? So ladies, it's, the girls that I know that have sugar daddies, they only had them for a specific amount of time. Now, the most successful ones were the ones that had more than one sugar daddy, okay? But even then, you get into jealousy issues because the sugar daddies, if I'm spending all this money on this girl, I want to be the only one. You see what I mean? So if they find out about each other, then they lose everybody, okay? There's a reason men will spend their money on a woman. It's because they're buying her. They're buying her loyalty to him. Okay, if he's spending money on this girl, he knows damn well that she's taking money from another guy too. He's either going to outbid that guy or he's going to fucking give up on her and get it to someone else who's not going to do that to him. You see what I mean? Hey, it's his money. He can spend it on whoever he wants, right? He's gonna purchase the best option. Of course, it's all about control. He's buying your loyalty. And if you're not going to give him loyalty, then what's he spending his money on? Exactly. See what I mean? So yeah, that's the dark side of this. Okay, so for those of you out there that think that you're on easy street right now because you've got some fucking rich 50-year-old guy who's paying all your bills for you, it ain't gonna last. It ain't gonna last. It's gonna go away. And then what are you gonna do? Usually when girls come down from this, you see them fucking bartending somewhere, and they're a single mom. Yeah, and they're covered in tattoos. Yeah, that's usually what happens. And they're addicted to alcohol. Okay, anyway, moving right along. But we're talking about the movie. We're not talking about real life, right? Okay. So anyway, so he points out to her that, what, I'm the best thing that happened to you, okay? You would never have, you never would have picked up a guy like me on a normal night of hooking, okay? I'm your meal ticket, okay? And I am more than aware that I am your meal ticket, okay? Basically is what he's telling her. And Vivian goes up and goes like, no one has ever made me feel as cheap as you did today. And he says somehow I find that very difficult to believe. Oh, I'm pretty sure she had her Chinese finger cuffs, okay? I'm pretty sure there's been plenty of trains involved in her, okay? Oh my God, yeah, okay. So anyway, what does she decide to do? She decides to grab the $40,000 worth of fucking outfits that he paid for, okay, that he bought her, okay, with his money. And she tells him that she wants her money from him and that she's leaving. So he takes out the $3 again, he drops it on the bed and walks away. And she ends up leaving it there and walks out the door of the room with the $40,000 worth of dresses. Fuck the $3 I got $40 right here in my hand. And she fucking walks out the door. This is supposed to be like, I don't care about the money bullshit, right? Then leave the dresses there too. While you're at it, take off your outfit, put your hooker clothes back on, and then leave. That would have been showing it to him. But she didn't do that. Of course not. Of course not. That would go against the message of the movie. All right? Okay, so that's going to end my review for right now, okay, for part 10, and I'll be back shortly. I am going to take a couple of breaks. I got to take a few days off from this because I am moving. So the next time you see me, I will be in my new place, okay, in my penthouse. Yeah, I will be in my penthouse, okay? The next time you see me, I won't be here anymore, okay? So anyway, I'll see you in a couple of days. Thank you for watching this long, and goodbye.